discussing different tags, strong, B, bold, EM, underline, BR, that these were simple. Then we moved to HTML entities. These are also important part. Escape characters, like I gave you example of writing the same HR tag, right? With opening and closing braces. These are not possible, so that's why we use escape characters. Uh, what's now? Hold on. Maybe something of that. Let it be. After that, we went over the list. Yeah, we talked about the list, ordered and unordered lists, examples of them, right? And looping of, no, not the looping, what's that? Yeah, the attributes. The attributes we discussed about the attributes along with the nesting of the loops, and then we switched to the anchor tag. We told about the reference of it. Path was little confusing for you guys, but hope so it's clear now. And yeah, that's it. Cool. I guess we are good to go for the next lecture. Are we having good numbers, sir? Can we proceed? Shall we proceed?
Yes, yes, you can.
Okay, so great. Uh, Now carrying forward from the last section, the last thing we learned was about the protocols, right? We'll continue with the protocol so that it can be a little more clear to you guys as well. Again, so I told about the protocols. Whenever you visit any website sort of thing, like let's assume I'm visiting, let's say I'm visiting google.com, right? So this is something which is written like https:// www.google.com, right? These things are visible to us. So what does that signifies? So I'm writing the same code here, https:// google.com, right? This was basically the protocol. I told about two more protocols to you that if we directly want to mail someone, then we can use a protocol of mail to. And along with that, if you want to directly call someone, right? So yesterday we saw tele protocol as well. These words are basically resource, like where you want your page to render or where you want to go, where you want to visit. These are the part of resources. And the earlier thing is mail to. Now, in the mail to, I would write samarth@gmail.com. This is the Gmail where I want myself to mail. So here, this will act as a resource, and this mail to will act as a protocol. And in the telephone number, I'm writing any random number, a 10-digit number. So this will be the resource in this case and protocol in the above case. As we saw in the previous lecture, I guess it's in anchor tags, right? Yeah, see, these are the protocols that we discussed in the previous lecture, right? This mail to is the protocol and this tell is the protocol along with the HTTPS, right? So along with that, we can easily check it out over the MDN protocols. I hope MDN is clear to you guys, like why is it used, why MDN is being given so much importance. It's the Bible, so I feel it's a good practice for you all, right? So yeah, we can easily read about MDN protocol system, rules, exchange data, like so whenever you guys get any sort of doubts or you guys get stuck somewhere between, so MDN will help you out everywhere. So make sure you use that properly and efficiently. Being a developer, it's a good practice, right? So okay, uh, let's assume that I'm having two pages, right? Let's assume I'm having two pages. Now the new concept starts. Let's be a little more focused here now. I'm naming this as page two, naming this as page one. I've written some content here. Let's assume some paragraph or some div or some other any other tag is there. Along with that, I'm using an anchor tag here. Anchor tag. Now, is it possible for me to move from this page one to this page two? Why this anchor tag? Like I told you about anchor tag, right? So anchor tag basically responsible for switching the pages or moving on to the location. Like if you want to go to Google, then I'll it give it a hyperlink reference where I want to go. It's a destination which leads me to the place where I want to go, right? So is it possible for me to enter some other page just by checking on like it? If I'm on page one, then I want to go on page two. Is anchor tag giving me that much prevalence that can I go there or can I not? Anybody can answer, right? I told in the previous class. You guys can write in the chat box as well.
Yes, sir, we can go.
We can do it, right? I also this was clear to others as well. Yes, yes, we can do. Cool, cool. Okay, I guess there's no problem with it, right? So I'm writing today's code in lecture 2 so that it's easy for you to find it up in the GitHub. I'm making it as what to say? It's anchor tags 2, right? Starting with anchor tags 2, index.html. But my boilerplate, my basic template, which I do write always, like it's mandatory to write. Let's assume I'm giving a heading of anchor tags to switch from one page to another. Right, this is my heading. And let's see, is it working or not? Yeah, it's working fine. Cool. Now I'll be using my anchor tag to move from one page to another, right? I can make another page in my anchors folder. I'm making it index2.html, right? One is the index and one is the index2. I'm also writing something in my index2. I'm writing this is my another page, right? Writing this is my another page. Let us see, is it working? Yes, it is also working. Cool. Uh, Moving back to my index, I'm writing that click here to move to another page. I've made this anchor tag, but I haven't given any hyperlink reference it yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm in my folder structure, right? Again, we'll be seeing about the folder structure. There's a possibility that you guys could be confused in the previous class. So we'll make it again for you guys. So this is my lecture 2 folder, lecture 2. There is a possibility, right? It can have more than one folders, of course. I'm writing this as my folder 1, writing this as my folder 2. This folder 1 is having two files right now. One is the index and other is the index 2. And let's assume we are having a file namely as ABC and let it be, right? I basically want to render from index to index 2. So what I'm going to do is I'll check in my neighborhood, is there index 2 present? And how to check in the neighborhood? Neighborhood is basically the same directory. Same directory. If I want to check in my neighborhood, that is same directory, the simple command is dot slash. It says I'm in my own directory, I'm checking in my own directory. Right. Yes, index is present there. Okay, index is present. Let's do one thing. Uh, let's write it up here. Okay, dot slash. Once I'll write dot slash, it means that I'm in the same directory. It will automatically give me the idea, right? Which all files are available with us. Right now, working on index.html, then I'll switch from index to index 2, right? So the hyperlink will be index 2. Okay, let's save it and check it out in the browser, right? Have I written? Click here, right? So if I'll again refresh, so you can see in my index page, anchor tags to switch from one page to another. This was the main heading. Okay, so this means yeah, we are on the index page, and I have a hyperlink. I have an anchor tag here. If I click this button, my job was to switch from this page to my index 2 page. Let's see, are we really going there or not? See, once I clicked here, this is my another page, which is the page which is again being rendered because of that hyperlink. So I hope this thing is clear to you all, right? You can see it is in index.html to index2.html after the click, right? Okay. What if in my index 2, I was having huge amount of paragraphs, right? Let's assume I'm having, I told about, right, that if I want a dummy data, I can write lorem along with the digits, how many letters or words I want in my dummy data. So I'll make it an enter. This will be some random gibberish content. I don't know what is it, but is it something which reduces your manpower? It reduces your labor of writing the dummy code. So this is what helps us along. Okay, so let's assume in this my another page, I'm having 20 paragraphs, right? I'm having 20 paragraphs. Not counting it, I'm just making it random. It can be 20 or more than that, right? If I'll save it, let's see. Right, it is showing us more than 20 paragraphs. Okay, but what if I want that while clicking on this anchor link of index, that is click here to move to another page, I directly want my file to render uh, this line number lorem 23, right? Not 23, let's assume we are having few more, right? We are having few more. I want it to render directly to my, yeah, lorem 23 line. I've just bifurcated it by adding 23 or any random number here, right? We can also see that. See, we are able here able to see that 23 line is there, right? So how can I redirect myself directly to some content which is already present in that another page, right? So cool. I'm making some more paragraphs so that it's easy for you to understand. Any random paragraph, anything, right? So for that matter, what we're gonna do is we'll give this paragraph which we want to act as like I want it to be a little special, right? I'll give it an ID. ID is like identifier. Like you and I are having like a name. A name is our identifier. So no two no two elements or no two classes, any element present in our page, no two elements can have same ID. So ID is always unique. So always remember this thing, right? No two elements can have same ID. ID stands for identifier. Identifier मतलब पहचान, right? I hope so. ऐसे तुम्हें चीजें याद रहे. Cool. No two elements can have the same ID. Okay, rightly said. Let's see. I'm giving it an ID. Let's assume I'm giving it an ID Nagarro. I'm giving it an ID Nagarro. Okay, saved. Now I want to switch from index to index 2 and inside index 2 to that special paragraph, right? So this is the hyperlink which will lead me from index 1, index to index 2. Now, if I want to go to somewhere special inside that index 2, then I have given ID there. So I need to require it here, right? So for requiring the ID, you need a special keyword that is hash symbol. You will write hash here. Now, the ID which you have given there, the ID which we gave was Nagarro, right? We gave Nagarro, so we'll write Nagarro after this hash key, right? I'm saving it and let's again go to the live server. Right. If I click here, I want my page to get rendered to that special paragraph, right? I'm clicking it. See, once I clicked it, it gave me the topmost possible line of that index, of that ID. We also have paragraphs above it, but because of clicking to that special ID identifier, it gave me the line which was referring to this 2323. Like this was our purpose, right? I hope so this is clear that how can we use ID to specially move from one page to another. Is it clear? Any doubts to anyone for this? It's very basic stuff. I'm just carrying forward from what I taught in last class. If any doubts you're having, you are like free to ask it. There's no issue. We are here in the learning phase. So doubts are like mandatory. No doubt. Okay, so I'm assuming that this was easy stuff. So yes, yes. You're audible, ma'am. If you are asking something, you can proceed.
सर आप फिर से वो दिखा सकते कि हम आईडी वाला कोड आप एक बार फिर से दिखा सकते हैं वो एंकर लिंक वाला. हाँ.
Sure. Is it visible to you, right?
Yes, sir.
See, I told about attributes that day, right? Attributes are extra information. So this ID is also under the category of attribute. I am providing some extra information to my browser inside my tag only. I hope so. This was your doubt that where do we need to add the ID? So ID has to be inside the tag only, so that this paragraph would get some special information in the browser. And once you will be rendering it from this index page, right? From this index page to this index.html, it will change the page. And inside that page, if you want to go to some special paragraph, giving it an ID, then you need a symbol of hashtag, which means you are referring to the ID, and after that, name of the ID. I hope so now it's clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, great. It sounds great. Cool. I have to save it, right? I have to save it, right? Save it. So hope so this is clear to you guys. Let me make another. Should I do it in one only or? Okay, let's move to the next topic. This is easy. Most of the things are covered. Now we'll be learning about inputs, right? So what are inputs? Let's discuss first. Uh, I don't know why is it happening. Cool. So now we'll be learning about inputs, right? Anybody having any sort of idea what are inputs? If you have idea, it's good, and if you don't, then we can see it very easily. Like if I go to Facebook.com, let's go to Facebook. If I go to facebook.com, right? If I go here, see, I'm getting an option in my right side to write my email address, to write my password, and clicking on this login button to get like verified by the Facebook and log into my account, right? So what are these? What are these things? What are these things? These email addresses, this password. What are these things? These are basically my input box. Input box with different categories. This is my this is my password input box. This is my email input box, right? So let's go to MDN first. MDN inputs. Right. See, the elements used to create interactive control. Like we were writing something over our the Facebook tag or the element. I would say the Facebook element, writing something, then writing my password. It is getting verified by the Facebook server in the backend. Then it will let me know yes, you are the right user or not. This is basically interactive, right? Interactive thing, right? So basically, we'll be studying about the different type of inputs. We have many inputs. If you can see in the left side, label, legend, matter, option, output, select, input. Like we have many kind of inputs. So we'll check it out now. So the first input which we'll be starting will be about text type. First input will be of text. Okay. Let me move to the input page. I'll get index.html. I hope so now you guys know how to make files, right? Index.html, my boilerplate. Simple. I'll be giving it a heading that I'm learning about learning inputs. Now see, how input is also a HTML tag. If I write IMP and click an enter, then you see that automatically we get an HTML element or HTML tag of type is equal to text. This type, this name, and this ID, all these are attributes to this input tag. Right now, we do not need to worry about this name and ID. We can like remove it or not to use it. It's totally up to us. Right now, we have no issues working with the just with the type is equal to text. Okay. So I want to write my name, right? I want to write my name. I'm writing name as my attribute. Okay, I'll be writing my name in this input box. I'll save it and I'll run it. Let's see what is shown. See, my name is there and it is asking me to write something. I'm writing my name somewhere, right? I'm able to write any random gibberish content. There is no limit to it, right? Any random content, I can write it, of course. Okay. So this is my input type. Input type text. I can write any sort of text in it. But what if in my website, like in the Facebook also, where's the Facebook? I guess it was in my incognito, right? In my Facebook, there is a password field as well. There's a login button as well, right? There are a few more things, or there is a possibility that in your web page, that let's assume you are a designer, right? You love to work with colors, or you are you're a very fancy kind of person and very disciplined. You need a clock or you need a time sort of thing in your web page. So all these attributes, all these inputs are all these inputs are available to us. We'll check it out one by one. The first input which we tried is the input of text type. Next time writing it out the password, right? I want to write a password, right? Now again, I'll go with the input, but this time this type of text will not be text. This type will not be text. This will be the password. Right, I'm typing this, writing this type as password. Again, removing this name and ID. They're not of our use right now. Right. Let's again check it out. See, we are able to get name as like my characters are visible in my name, but in my password, if I write my name, I'm writing Samarth, right? These are not visible. These are like hidden because of the type of it, that is password. Passwords are not generally visible, right? So that's why this type of text which we'll be writing, this type of this input box will not show the value. Okay, so pretty fair, pretty good. Now what if I want to add date in my input box? Again, I'll go for input. Before clicking, I have different options of input, right? I have input button, I have input C, input checkbox, input color. I have different options there, you can see. So I want date, right? So I would go for input date. So automatically the type of the input is date allotted to me. And once again, no need to worry about this name and ID. We'll save it again and we'll see the date. See, we are getting the date. We can choose it from the calendar. Let's assume I'm choosing it for 8th June. So it automatically gives me the date, right? Let's make it little clear, right? I'll be adding the BR tags. It will be little neat after that. Anybody having any sort of doubt till here? And what are inputs? Inputs are basically the same thing which we use to, like in the form sort of thing. When we log into some page and we enter our credentials as well as passwords, right? So these categories are basically part of inputs. Any doubts still here? Any sort of doubts? Uh, Taking input value using input tag text field. Yeah, we can do it text field. Like, see, Vishesh Kumar, basically what happens is, like, let's assume you're going on Myntra, right? What you do is you buy a product and then you rate that product and you write a review about that product, right? So writing a huge amount of content is preferably done under this text field, right? Text are basically for small, like username or writing your name, or basically uh, a small content, small sort of information. It's not about writing the whole paragraphs or writing about. It's not a good practice to write a whole paragraph because it's a like never ending. Oh, no doubt, sir. Okay, it's like never ending scrollable thing, right? So it's better to write a large number of letters, or I would say paragraph inside that text field rather than writing it in just the text, right? Hope your doubt is clear, Vishesh. I hope it is clear. Okay, so we'll see few more input boxes. Let's assume next time moving forward is for color, right? Uh, input of color. Let's leave the name and ID for now. And next could be our file. I can attach the entire file as well. See, I'll show you. Uh, See, file. I've added color and file. Let's see what their job is. See, I can click on the color and choose the different palettes which are available to me. So this will show me the color, right? I can give it RGB number as well. So the designers could be understanding this a bit more. So color, and I can also choose my files from the system. If I'll go and click the choose file, then I'm getting the option that you want to choose it from your system, you want to choose it from the document, you want to choose from downloads or any other stuff from your computer, right? So input is also an option to me. Input of choosing file is also an option to me, right? Now, next we can go for the number. I want to write my phone number in my input box, right? I'll write it or switch it with the number. Or I can also go for, let's assume I can go for text area. Yeah, someone was telling about text area, right? I'll give it a comment. I'll give it a name as comment. The name is comment, and see, the text area is little different if you see it properly. So text area is having few more extra attributes. This is having calls as my extra attribute, rows as my extra attribute, right? These are some extra attributes which are present inside our text. So this column and rows is having some significance. I'll let you know. Let's focus on what's written to us. See, in the number, we can write any sort of number, but the characters, if I try to type it, I'm typing my characters with my hand, but I'm not able to type the characters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, any of the character will not be visible, but only the numbers will be there. I can add only the numbers because I've given it the type of numbers only, right? I can use this pointer to increase or decrease its value, so it's quite okay. And see the difference between text and text area now. The text is having quite smaller width as well as if I'll write numbers which should not be beyond this, it will start scrolling me towards the right side, right? But text area won't happen. If I'll write any of the gibberish content, it will definitely show me inside the same tag only, right? So I'll give a preference of writing comments over the text area sites. So I guess this was a little your doubt. What was his name? I guess Vishesh was his doubt, right? So I hope so now this doubt of yours is clear. Okay, so we also do have checkboxes. You must have seen in your different websites that are you a male, are you a female, check it out, and like have you filled this form before, right? So I have checkbox also. See if I write INP, I automatically gets a suggestion of checkbox, and again ignoring name and ID. So checkbox for let's assume gender. Just writing random content. I'm not linking into anywhere right now. Male, and I can write it an option of female, or I can write it an option of others. Right, others. Okay, so let's see. Break tag is missing. Just a moment. I'll add break tag to make it little neat. Break tag, break tag, and break tag. Right. See. Now my checkbox is showing me three options: male, female, and others. I can check it out. I can check it back. I can toggle this thing. Toggle is to like switch from one or another, right? Checked in, checked out, checked in, checked out. Similarly, we can happen it here. But is it possible for us to check out all the genders at the same time? That can I be male, can I be female, and can I be others at the same time? That's not possible, right? So we'll do a practice here to save this, what do we say, discrepancy. There's a problem, right? So to just save yourself from this problem, what we're gonna do is we'll use this name attribute now. If I'll give the name attribute, let's assume my gender to this, and this name is given to this name gender is given to every other name over which I want to toggle, right? I had three options: male, female, others. Let's assume I have others two or others three. I have all these options. But if I want that one amongst these five, right? Let me just draw and make it clear for you. I have an option of writing it as male, writing it as female, writing it as others, and blah, 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 right? Blah, blah, blah. I have a checkbox here, I have a checkbox here, I have a checkbox here, I have a checkbox here. At possible condition, at worst condition also, there is only one possibility that I can check out either of them, not even one, not even two, three, four, only one amongst them. If I'll click on this female, then this male one will get disrupted, right? This will get waved off. So only one possibility is that either you can go for male, either you can go for female, or either you can go for any amongst this option. So the solution to this problem is that if we give the name attribute same for all these four options or all these things, then we can save ourselves from the problem. Let's see. I have given the name gender. I can give any name for reference to all these categories. I'll save it, and now I'll see. I can click on the male, and if now I click on the female, see what happens. After just a second. Type name. Just a second. Just a second. Name given.
Sir,
Type should be yes, sir.
the radio button.
Yeah, type should be radio. That's what I was about to say. That this I wrote the type about checkbox, right? This type would be radio. Really sorry for that. Checkbox is basically just have you done this or not. I just got confused with this. Really sorry for that. Just change the type from checkbox to radio. I saved it. Now let's see. If I toggle on this and move on to other categories, right? Then I'm easily able to choose only one amongst these three. Just change the type from checkbox to radio. I'm really sorry for that. I don't know why that happened. I'll write it about radio button. Radio input, sorry. Radio. Not very easy. We just, I don't know. I hope so. This is clear now. How can we tackle the problem? Any doubts with this? So can we use radio instead of? Yeah, we can use radio. I just misconcepted with the name. I just wrongly used checkbox. Checkbox is basically have you submitted the form? Have you not? So either check it or not. Radio is the thing which we'll be basically using for that, right? I hope so. This is clear. There's no doubt in it. Any doubts to anyone till now? Any sort of doubts to anyone? Please show the code again. Yeah, just sending the code. This code. See, I was sharing about these attributes, right? The column and the rows. Let's assume I'm changing this. First, see the text format. It's a very big rectangle sort of thing in front of us. If I change this 10 to 4, let's see now what happens. You see the size of that, the number of rows get reduced. I'm changing the rows value, right? Rows are which are horizontally given, right? So columns are 30, but the number of rows got reduced by this attribute. I can make it 40, I can make it 400. It will be like a huge amount of content which I can write, but I'm making it short. I'm making it just 4, right? So this attribute could be used for this purpose. So is it okay? Is it okay for all? Any sort of doubts to anyone? Okay for all, right?
सर एक बार आउटपुट स्क्रीन दिखा सकते हो?
Sure. This thing?
सर हमें कमेंट को मतलब इस तरह से डिजाइन करना है कि वो एग्जैक्ट इस बॉक्स के बीच में है. So
this
what
box
should we do in this?
that will be done using CSS. Like that will be done using CSS. Right now, what I can do is I'll write my comment and I'll give it a break. So it will be a little neat for you, but the styling part will be done using CSS. We'll be coming to it like in the next classes. It's easy. It's like very easy thing. Like, right now, we're just focusing on the HTML. That is just the skeleton part of it. We'll be switching on to CSS from the next class, and it is very easy. Yeah, don't worry. We'll do it. Anything else? Anyone?
So can we change the position of the radio buttons, like if we want to shift it before the text?
Before the text, basically you'll do one thing. So that will not be happening. Nee, right now it won't happen. Right now it won't happen because the CSS part is still missing. Like this way, the radio button, it will automatically switch the next thing to the next line. Styling part doesn't matter right now. Like we will not be making circular checkboxes. We'll be making good like stylish checkboxes if we'll be making, right. So this is just for the understanding purpose, the conceptual purpose. Don't worry about the styling right now.
रेडियो बटन तो हो जाएगा उसके अंदर जो इनपुट फील्ड है उसको एक लाइन अप कर देंगे वो चेंज हो जाएगा.
That will be done using label, right? No worries. Like styling part we are not concerned right now. Just focus on the concepts which we are teaching, right? Right now, just the concepts. After 5-6 classes, you'll be like good enough in a position to make good things. So let's just focus on the concepts. Clear till here? Okay, so one or two more tags, I would say. Sorry, inputs. I can go for like drop down. As anyone see about the drop down, like when you were about to fill the forms, right? The forms do give you option that which year passed out, 2020, 2021, 2022, and so on, right? This is a drop down kind of thing. So how we can do it? I'm doing about drop down, right? Just a second. For that matter, we'll be using select. This is basically again an input, and we'll give options in it, right? We give options. The value of that option can be, let's assume, ignore the value for right now. Value is not important for us. We are making an option of months: January, February, March, April, May, and let's assume that we have few more. June. Right. Let's see what's going to happen. See, we have option. Just adding this BR tag for its better visibility. I'm writing it months and a BR tag. Right. I'm getting months and I'm getting a checkbox option, right?
Hello.
Either January.
Sir?
Yes.
सर ये हम एक साथ कॉपी कैसे कर सकते हैं? जैसे आप एक साथ मतलब 5-6 लाइन आप पेस्ट कर देते हैं ना, वो कैसे कर सकते हैं? उसका कोई शॉर्टकट होता है?
See, basically, आप फॉर एग्जांपल मुझे अब इस जुलाई वाली लाइन को कॉपी करना है, राइट? Just simply use Control C without selecting thing. This entire line will get copy, Control C and Control V. So you don't need to select any sort of thing if you want to copy the entire line, right? Yeah. Okay. See, we have different options, right? We made the options till July. So once I'll click on this checkbox, this drop down thing, this will allow me to choose different months, right? January, February, March, April. So this also can be done using this, right? I hope so. Most of the inputs are clear. Rest, if anything is you feel left, then of course you can go to inputs of MDN, inputs and wait, I'm just sending it again. Inputs MDN, then you'll get a list of all the elements. You can read about them. You can see in the description how they look. Like, see, we generally saw most of them: button, checkboxes, color, dates, date, time, choose files, right? I hope so this sort of thing is clear for you guys, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
oh, so you're saying yes. I hope so no doubts are there to anyone. It's clear, right? Let's just take a break of 1 minute. I need to have a little water. It's break of just 1 minute. I'll be right back in 1 minute, right? Let's have water break.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we are back, right? Let me just check which all tags are being done.
सर इसके अंदर जैसे डिफॉल्ट यहाँ पे हमारा फर्स्ट सिलेक्टेड है जनवरी.
Yes.
डिफॉल्ट इसके अंदर कुछ और सिलेक्ट करना हो तो
सबसे पहले काम do one thing. For example, I want this जो top वाला element है to be like default. Make it default, and this default की जगह make it Jan. Right, the default will be selected. The topmost element को आप as a default set कर सकते हो, right?
नहीं सर, जैसे हमें अगर अक्टूबर सिलेक्ट करना है बाय डिफॉल्ट, उसके अंदर क्या कर सकते हैं?
तो आप इसको इनिशियली वैल्यू दे दो.
Okay.
और it's a good practice to like एक for example choose months ऐसे करके उसके first default ले दो ना, right? तो value thing ना sometimes it gets confused when you work with the backend stuff as well, right? तो backend के लिए value is also used for some different things, so I preferably don't give values to these kind of things. Initially in the like HTML part, it's not going to give you any sort of issues, but when you work with the backend thing, right? This value attribute is very important. So that for that matter, I don't want you to practice these things from now, right? Let's play safe from the first end only, right? Okay. I guess Abhi, I have not done the tell, right? Tell and as well as attribute. We'll do one more input in it. I'll give it an input of tell. INP. Tell stands for telephone. Right. See, we have the option here. If I click on the input tell, let's see what will we get. Again, break line and telephone. So it somewhat works like, I guess, number only, but you don't have the option to like increase it by one value. You can just directly write the value of anything. But there is one more special attribute which we can use in the telephone, right? Let's assume that, okay, of course, everyone knows that our telephone number is only consisting of 10 digits. So we can give another additional information, that is attribute of max length of 10 to my tell, that is input tell. Like, let's see what happens there. If I'll make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and again 0, उसके बाद फिर से 1, 1. I'm not able to type any of the numbers after that because I have given this tell input as an attribute of maximum length, right? Again, if I am writing any random number, I can do it, but it could not exceed the number 10. I can change this value from 10 to, let's assume, 5, changing it from 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm writing 6, but it is not visible. So this is some extra attribute which we can give in the tell input maximum length, and along with that, minimum length can also be a part of it. Let's not go for minimum one. Right, maximum is something which should be practiced, right? Cool. We cannot exceed from 5 digits. Hope so. This is also clear to all, right? Now we are moving on to a little important concept. These are just basics till now. That is our form. Now, what is a form? We'll study about that and how we are able to get the
मोबाइल
details.
नंबर के केस के अंदर तो मिन मैक्स दोनों डालना पड़ेगा ना, क्योंकि 10 digits ही मैंडेटरी रहता है.
हाँ, you can add both the attributes. I just gave you about max. You can write min and type it. Like mobile number, like of course it is a 10-digit number, but it depends from country to country, right? Then some other country it can be 11 in some other country. So it depends on your usage. You can use anything. So it's totally up to you. Just get to know about the tags, about the properties, and that's okay. I hope so that's clear and not an issue for anyone of us, right? Is my screen lagging? Number type, it is not available for the number type. Abhay console, it's not available for the number tag. Just a second, I'm reading on the chat. Just a second, please. But in the reading inputs, if you select one option, I can't deselect. I can apply this is the like Tejas, you need to make the name attribute same in all the cases. I just told about that, right? This name attribute, this name has to be same if you in order to you just want to select one, right? This name have to be same. Is an accident not available number which I can check file number right or wrong. Just use a checkbox, like right or wrong is just checkbox. You want to authenticate that number, then that will be something like passport and JWT. That's a different thing, right? That's not a part of it. Okay, so let's proceed forward towards our form thing, right? Cool. So what is a form and why is it used? I'm just letting you know why is it used first. Form is basically used to send information to the server. Forms are basically used to send the information to the servers. Let's assume we are again going to our favorite place, that is Facebook. Let me just remove these things first. Right. Again, I'm going to Facebook, right? Clicking onto Facebook. Again, if I'll enter some gibberish content and let's assume I'm writing my name, somewhere than 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm writing 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If I log in it won't log in, of course, it's just a dummy data. So you see, there is some change in the URL. It is giving me some extra information that any random digits according to their encoding. There is some change in my URL. Okay, great. So what is the behind the scene which is happening? Like I just clicked on the login button along with some credentials of mine, filling the text areas and as well as my password text, filling the inputs. If I click on the login, the URL gets reloaded and there is something like there is some extra information which has been given in our URL, right? Then what is it? So now we'll see that. I'm making another folder, making it as forms. Inside that form, I'll make a file of index.html in a boilerplate. H2 is forms. Starting forms. Starting forms, right? Let's see, is it working or not? Yeah. So let's make a form input. I'm making a form tag. Now, ignore this action for right now. I'm removing this. Ignore this action from right now. I just told you that the form is used to send information to the server. Just keep this in mind. Sending information to the server. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll use my input, my username as well as my password, and I'll try to send it to my server. Okay. For that matter, I need to make inputs. Input of text, right? Input text, which will be having my name. I'll be entering my name in my input text and I'll be entering my password in my input password. Right, input password, right. Ignoring this name and ID just for now. I'll use it to, right now, right? I'll use it right now. And I'm also adding a button. This button, I'm adding it as view.ton, or I will say the name of button is submit. Right. So let's see what we get using break tag again. I just forget to add break tags. Right. See, now it is looking like a little form sort of thing which we saw in the Facebook. Not designer, but the functionality is the same. Let's assume I'm writing this submit as well as password 1, 2, 3, 4, and I click on the submit button. Once I click on the submit button, you see there is a refreshing thing there which happens in my browser. I'm clicking it, just see on this URL that it gets refreshed for 1 second. See, clicking, it gets refreshed. Clicking, it gets refreshed. So what basically happening here? Basically what happens is form is used to send the data, right? I told about the information to the server. Once you click the button is attached to the form which having the different inputs as a, like form was having different inputs, right? This is my form. This was having different inputs. Password, and this button submit. Once I click this, right, my URL gets refreshed because according to the functionality of the form, it sends data to my server. So after clicking the submit button, the data is automatically being sent. But since we have not given any action sort of thing that where I want to send my data or what I want to do with my data, by which method I want to send my data. So these things are not given. So that's why no other, I would say no other extra thing is visible except that refreshing and refreshing of that basic URL, right? Again, we'll see. I'm writing Sam, writing 1, 2, 3. Once I click on the submit button, it gets refreshed, but no information is provided, right? So now, if I'm clicking on this this input box, then only I can write the value. But if I click on the name attribute, right? I'm clicking on the name, but now I'm clicking on the name. I'm not able to type anything, right? Clicking on the name will not take me to this input box. So I can treat this by using some other element, other HTML tag. I'll use my label tag for it. See, if I use my label tag now, let's assume, for example, label of my tag will be name. And here I was having two things, name as well as ID was my attribute, right? In the initial phase only, which I removed. These things were by default. So for, I've added this label tag, label for name. This for has to be same as that of this ID, right? The name is there in for, and that same word I'll copy and paste in my ID. So what's gonna happen is I'll just copy it from here and add it inside of my label. Let's check this out. What will happen? Now, if I click on the name again, then also I'm able to get in my input box. I'm able to get in my input box by clicking the input. That is like very basic thing. But if I click on the name as well, right, then also I'm able to get in my input box, right? See, but in the password case, I'm not able to do because I've not attached the label. So what label does is, it attaches, or I would say it binds with the input, with input type, right? It attaches or binds with the input type label tag, or I would say element. I hope so. You guys were able to see the action of label, right? If I want to do the same for the password, what I'll do, I'll add this label tag. Again, be a little careful. Label tag is having an attribute for. For here, just copying it down. Right, label tag is having an attribute for, and this for has to be same as that of inputs ID, right? Input ID should be having the same value as that of this for, but cannot be same as the, I told you about ID is unique, right? So the ID cannot be same for any two or more than one like element. So I'll give it a ID of password, and for also I'll give it the label as for, right? So now this for will be binded or will be attached to the input of this password. And now let's see what happens. We are able to do it for the name by clicking on the name, right? And again, we are able to do it with the password. Now it's better for us to click anywhere in the name or in the checkbox, and we are able to write the value, right? We are able to write the value. Cool. This was about the label tag. See, now we want to do about some action. Okay, I want to send my form data somewhere. For that matter, we have two more attributes. One is the action and one is the method, right? Action and method are two things which we can use to send the data. Here, action will stand for, wait, I'll just copy it down and pen it here for betterment of it. I just wrote form. Form was having two attributes. One is the action, one is the method, right? It is shown like this. Now, what is the function of this action and what is the function of this method? Let's study about action first. See, when we click on the button, this button will do one thing. It will send data and it will take me down to the page I want. Take me to the place where I want the action to happen. Place where I want the action to happen. Now, what is an action? Basically, let's assume if someone is, let's assume your parents are giving you 100 rupees, right? Your action will be like either you'll be investing that 100 rupees. Your action would be like either you'll be buying stocks, either you'll be eating it out, or either you'll be buying your chocolates or gifting it to somebody else. Right? These are the action that is the possible ways to do with that money, to like utilize that money, right? So the action is same as that only. It takes us to the place where we want it to happen, or we want it the action to take place, right? Action is made for that. And method. Methods are basically of two types for the form. One is the post method, and other is the get method, right? Uh, Let me just ask you guys first, like, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay till now, right? So cool. Methods are of two types. One is the get, other is the post. The get method is basically used like if I'll just show you out so that will be better for you. I told about action, right? I don't want any action. I just want it to render over my page only. Like I don't want my URL to move to some other page. I just want कि वो हमारे page पे ही रहे and it stuck. It get stuck here only, right? And the method I'm using right now is get. You can write it in capital ways as well. So it's one and the same thing. It won't give much of an issue, right? This action hash will what hash will do is it will take us it will not take us to some other page. It will keep it us in the same page over which we are working, right? Let's see now. If I'll get back and refresh it, right? This is our basically form. Now what I'm doing is I'm entering my name somewhere. I'm entering a password 1 2 3 4. Now I'm about to hit my submit button. You just have to see this URL site, right? This 127, this browser URL. See what will happen. What happened was it gave me a question mark and a hash, right? Gave me a question mark and a hash, right? Hash is because of it that it is taking me out to the same page only. It is not rendering me there. And this get is a request which is being sent over the data. Now we are not able to see any value, right? We were not able to see any value. How will we seeing the value? Here comes the role of your name attribute. I'm writing this name as username and this name attribute as my password. And since it is in my password category, I'm writing it inside my password. And since it is in my input name category, I'm writing this attribute name as username. Let's save and see the game now. Cool. I'm again moving on to this page. I'm writing this as submit, writing this as 1 2 3 4. Let's hit the submit button now. See, now in the URL, you got to see after question mark, username is equal to submit and password is equal to 1 2 3 4. Right. Okay. So what basically happening is, let me just copy it down. Right, I'm copying it down here. This till here was my page over which I was working, right? Till here, the page I was with own working. After this question mark, I got my username is equal to Samarth and password is equal to 1 2 3 4. And after that, a hash. These parameters after my question mark, all the content which is present after my question mark is my query parameter, right? This is my query parameter. Just make it very clear. Like whenever you send the data using form and the method is get, then you get the information or you get the values of it in form of query parameters, right? In form of query parameters while working out with the get stuff. Again, we'll see. Let's assume I'm refreshing it again. And I'm writing some other data. I'm writing Nagarro and I'm writing password as 1 2 3 4. If I click again, see my username is now switched to Nagarro and my password is again 1 2 3 4. This hash is basically what we have where we have done the action. Like let's assume if I'm taking it to google.com, right? http://google.com. I want this action to happen in google.com. I'll change the action from here to Google. Again, I'll refresh it. I'll say submit. I'll say a password of 1 2 3. And if I'll submit, it will take me to google.com. That was my action. And after this question mark, these are my query parameters. There is no hash. Hash was because of the action. Now we have changed the action from hash to google.com. So the action is now google.com. And after this question mark, my information, which I sent using my form data, that too with my get request is shown here, right? Or we can see it by one more way. I'll just let you know. See, changing the action again. Action was just to explain you. Changing the action again and refreshing it. I'm inspecting it. I hope I told about inspecting, right? Right click and go over the developers tool. That is inspect. Making it a little short right now. I hope so. Now the text is visible. Right. Again, see. This is our URL. Nothing is there in the parameters, and I have my input box to fill. I'm filling Samarth as my name and password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this time. Now properly see two things. I'll let you know in the network tab. Come to the network tab and click the submit button. Once you click the submit button, you get the query parameters as well as you get to see this name section under it. And if you click in this index.html file, go to network. सबसे पहले initially go to network, then go to your index.html, which comes under the name category. If I click on it, see what all are we having. Initially, you'll be getting headers. So where is the request being sent? The request being sent over this URL. What is the URL showing you? Now it is telling me the method as well. The method which I use here. See, I use the get method, right? Now it is providing me the same information that yes, I'm using this get method. Along with that status code is something which you don't need to remember, but just learn one thing. If the status code is from 200 to 299, then it is okay in the sense it is a success status. Like there is no I would say there's nothing wrong going out with your code. Everything is going perfect. Not okay. It is like a success start, I would say. These are these are the status codes which lie under success categories. And if your status codes lie under 400 to 499, this is basically danger, I would say. Danger in the sense that you are having some sort of errors or you are having some problems with your code, right? No need to remember these status codes. What basically we'll do is, as usual, we are developers, we'll go for status codes, and again MDN will help us out. See, 200 to 200 to 299 will give us successful responses, and from 400 we get errors, right? Client side errors, and 500 to 599. No need to remember the numbers. Just see it out once, just the range, and that is more than sufficient. I guess. There's no need to learn about status codes. So method we have get, status code we are having it, right, and these are some extra information which is not relevant to us for now. And I wrote the password. I wrote my username as Samarth and password as 12356, right? If I go to my payload, you can see in my query, I told about these are query parameters, right? See, query string parameters. I gave the username Samarth and I gave the password 12356. This thing is visible to all of us, right? I hope so. There's no doubt till now. Yeah, someone is saying that Abhishek is saying that GET request is less secure as compared to the POST one. Of course, it totally depends on your usage. For example, if you're just making the website for your personal use, then there is no security purpose. Getting like GET is little easy to use for people, so we explain both the things. Now I'll explain about POST as well. Just let me know that which is I explained about GET till now. GET is clear to you guys or not?
It's clear.
Which part, Rishabh? Which part do I need to explain again? And yes, the answer of the question is yes, Post is more secure because the URL cannot directly get the data. Okay, I'll show you by an example. Is it secure or not? Right. I'm writing my name as Samarth. Let's ignore this question mark. I'm writing this name as Samarth, and password. I'm not telling you the password, right? We'll see are we able to get the password or not, right? I submitted it, right? I'm able to get it over this query parameters. So anyone who is using my website can easily check it out using my this URL window that what is the password or what is the username, right? So it is not a good practice to do it. But if I go on facebook.com, right? Let's go to facebook.com. Again, I'm going to facebook.com and I'm writing it as Samarth. I'm writing that 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. I've given the password 1234, but I'm not showing it. Can I change? Can I see someone else's password just by not entering in their backend and just by visiting this URL without even visiting this URL, right? Can I do it? Can I do it? Network wala. I'll tell about network wala, Rishabh. See, now we go to inspect and we go to our developer tools again. Now, as you can see, I've written my name in the input and some password. Let's do one thing. I told about this magnifying glass, right? If I click on the magnifying glass, I can search it on different fields which are available to us. I'll do one thing. I'll switch to this password field, right? If I switch to this password field, what's going to happen is I'm getting this type is equal to password, right? I'm getting this type is equal to password, but I don't want it to be password. I want to see it. So what I'll do is I'll change this password from password to type. I'll enter and not enter, wait. If I'll change the password from password to this and so for a pass, right? Where's the visibility thing? Pass. Are we having some other password? See, the moment I change the type from password to type, now this password is visible to us. So is it a good practice to do it? The passwords and the username, all these information are available in our browser. So it is like easy to catch it out. See, all I did was the type initially, like if I refresh it again, right? If I refresh it again and inspect my, I have not given it a value. Just a second, I have to give it a value first. I'll inspect it again, right? Facebook.com. And I'm writing my Samarth as my name, and I'm writing any random number. I'm not telling you what my number is repeated, right? Any random number. But then also you guys can check my password by simply going to the developer tools, going to the elements, and using this magnifying glass over it to the place you want to check. I want to check my password field, so I click it here. It will take me out to this div. Div is also a HTML tag. So here the type is password, and I know when password type is there, I am not able to see the password. So what I'll do is I'll simply change the password from password to type, right? If I'll change it from password to type, you can see now my password is being visible despite it was earlier hidden because of the functionality written of type as password, right? So your passwords are not secure. Your password can easily be accessed by the browsers. Getting it? Things are clear. Abhay, can you please explain the significance of hashtag? See, basically what happens is we want to do some action, right? Action is a part of कि आप अपने form को लेके कहाँ जाना चाहते हो आप. I told you about if someone will give you 100 rupees, what you'll do. Either you will keep it, either you will spend it, or either you'll buy something for it. If you want to keep it, then what you'll do, you just keep it in your hand, right? Up now, I don't want any of my form action to go to some other page or to perform some activity. I don't want that. I just want to see its functionality. So this hash is basically rendering it to the same page only where we are working. Hash का मतलब होता है कि आप जिस जगह पे काम कर रहे हो, it has to be on the same place only. आप कहीं और से इधर उधर नहीं भेजना चाह रहे. It will be on that same place, right? हाँ Rishabh, now we are moving again with that inspect thing. Now Rishabh, just see here again. What I'm doing was, this was my form tab. I was writing Samarth, password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any random thing. Right click on your output window. You will see inspect. This is my developer tools. You'll see my inspect. Now, these things are available in front of you, right? This was your output and these things are available in front of you. Now you can see this magnifying glass here. you can see this console, you can see the sources, and you can see the network. To see the form data, go to your networks and simply submit the button. Now you will see the action which will happen. I've not done anything. I've just switched my tab from elements to network, and now I'll click submit button. After clicking the submit button, I got the parameters in my like URL as well. Now, if I drag it little up, you could see I have my another like section or a table inside my network tag that is giving me index.html, on which I'm working on, right? If I click on this index.html, headers and payloads, different options are there. But initially, I'll be encountering with headers. Headers will give me the URL, where am I working, my method request, my status code, everything is available right here. And this payload, or either if you scroll down till your headers, payload might not be visible to you guys. If you will just scroll towards the end of your header, you will get this query string parameters. So this query string parameter is that what parameters that you are given in using your method as get. So this get method is giving you username as Samarth and password as 12345. Till here, is it clear? What was his name? Rishabh. Now I hope so. It's not an issue for you to access this network tab. Is it clear for you, Rishabh, now? Anybody else having any sort of problem till here, till this get method? Anybody else having any sort of doubt? As Rishabh is saying yes, it is clear to him. Okay. Anybody else here any sort of doubt in this get request? Okay, so if get is clear, then we'll go from get to post. I just told you about we have two sort of methods, right? One is the get and the other is the post. Right? Get we just saw. Now we're moving to the post. Everyone was saying that post is secure, post is secure. So now let's see how are we able to say yes that the post is secure. I'm making it a post method now. I changed it from get to post. I'm saving it now. Also, one thing, this action has to be slash. Okay, this action has to be slash. When we are using the get method, the action could be hash, but in the case of post, it's better to change its action from hash to post. Like when you'll be working in the routes, right? Routes simply says that slash is working in the same directory, moving on to the same place where you are working with right now. So the work which was doing hash in case of get, now this slash will do the same work in case of post, right? So we changed basically two things. We changed the action from hash to slash, and we changed the method from get to post. And again, now we'll save it and we'll see what is being shown. I'm removing this stuff. Now, I'm again typing this as somewhere than any random password. If I click on the submit button, just see what happens. I click on the submit button, but now it is saying this page is not working. This page isn't working. This is because of this action method. I'll go on. Just a second now. Hash will also give me the same thing. Submit. Hash will give me the same. Slash. Slash which should have worked. Just a second, guys. Why is it not working? Post request भेज दिया मैंने. Action. Let's make it an action with the ignore it right now what I'm doing. Just give me a minute. I'll explain everything. Just a minute. यार इसको रेंडर तो नहीं चाहिए था hash text or HTML. ऐसा इनपुट्स का आपको लाओ. Okay, we'll try one thing else. Basically happening. Okay, let's try if it works or not. I don't know why it is not rendering me to the slash window. I'll do one thing. I'll type the password. I'll click on. I'll open the developer tools again. Again, I'll go to the network tab and I'll be making a post request after submitting. After submitting, I would see, yes, it is showing me index.html, but it is showing me a failed file, but doesn't matter. It's showing me a failed file right now, doesn't matter. Now you can see that there is nothing, no information is being shown over this URL, right? I hope so now you guys are there. Now you guys can listen. There was some problem with the rendering thing, but we can easily see the stuff with this developer tool. Everybody's there, right? Let's focus again. Let's focus again. Come. This was my page. I changed the request from, doesn't matter. I'm changing it from this to this only. Changing the method from get to post and action from hash to slash, right? I've saved it. Now I'm working on it. I'm giving it a username of, let's assume I'm changing the username as Nagarro. Now password is, we'll check the password, right? It's basically 456456, but we'll check it. Now I'll right click on my inspect and I'll see what happens in my network tab. Expanding it so that you guys can see. I'm hitting on my submit button. Now you have to check out in the URL. That is this URL site. That is there any query parameters which was coming in the case of get. Now will it be here and along with the network tab. I'm hitting on my submit button. After hitting the submit, nothing is being shown over my URL. And if I'll go on to my 127 page, which is being shown to me, the page which is being rendered, I click on it. So again, I'm getting the general information that on which post I am right now working and which method is it. It is showing me that the request method now here is post, right? Request method is post and different attributes and values are there in front of you. Now again, this payload was for form data, right? Earlier it was query string parameter, right? In the case of get, it was query string parameters. And now in the case of post, it is showing me the password as well as a username, not in the query parameters, that is not in the URL, as only the form data in our network tab payloads. Did you guys get the basic gist or difference between this get? I told about query parameters, and in the post, we get form data. We get the data as form data. You guys got the basic gist, right? The payload, I'm able to see the form data, and in the form data, the information is available to. Is it clear to all of you the difference between post and why the post is secure? Because in the URL or in the query parameters, there was nothing to be seen from our end. It was totally not an issue for us, for anyone to enter our tab. Right? Guys, got the difference between get and post method and how we can basically submit, the data to the server. Right now, submitting, we can't see the backend stuff, but okay, yeah, we can see that the parameters are there, the username. Do we need to give the absolute address and put that maintain back? No, there is no need to give, it depends on where you want your action to happen. Like this slash will give the same, right. Earlier, you were using hash in case of get method. It will render me to the same page over which I am working. Same page. So in case of post, inside. In case of post, this slash will give me, will do the same thing, render on the same page. So it basically depends on your action, but I didn't want any action to happen or any sort of page to get changed. But I can do it from this page to google.com to facebook.com to any other page. I can render the action to any other page. But this by default working on the same page and not switching on to other is basically because of this hashtag, right? Hash as well as this slash tag. Post is working, but we are not we are not made any page for its action to work, and we have not done any special kind. We've not made any special page. Okay, what you do is you go to the login page. You write your credentials, and after that login page, you render yourself to either when you log in Facebook, the Facebook page comes in, or either when you get logs in, then your Instagram comes in, right? So the action is that after logging in, what happens? What happens is we've not made any page. We've not rendered it to like, okay, so if you want me to render it to google.com, that I can do it like https://google.com, right? I'm not writing slash here. And this is again my post request. If I'll save it, running it again, right? I'm writing this as my submit and password as any random content. If I'll work on my submit tab, see, I'm rendered to the Google page. The work page is working fine. There is no issue with it, but the post method is inappropriate because the data is not there and these fields are not being properly shown over it, right? There is no problem in rendering things anywhere, but you need to make the routes as well. Like that's a backend thing. Just understand slash is basically used when we work with the post methods and work over the same page, and hash is being used when we work with the get method and work over the same page. I hope this post and get is a little bit clear. Like these are basically part of backend, but just to explain you about form data. So this was a little important, right? Also, one or two important tags are there. I'll do it in and anchor tags too only. Should I do it anchor tags too? No, I'll do it in inputs only, right? One or two inputs are left. Let's see here again. Another inputs. We have an input of field set. Like for example, whenever you want your, like for example, you are making this a form, right? Your form was okay. We'll do this inside our form only, right? Let's not do it here. We'll do it inside a form only. Leave it here. We are going again back to the form index.html. I want this form to look little neat inside a box, and it should be little neat, right? So what I'll do is I'll enclose this form inside one of my tags, namely field set, and I'm enclosing my form inside field set. Now see what will happen. If I'll save it, this form of mine is basically enclosed inside this beautiful, I would say, box. So irrespective of whatever things you keep it inside your field set, it will definitely convert itself with a good box, like line kind of thing inside a box. And what if I want my box to show some, like I want this to be my form data. I want the heading to be a form data. So then we have another tag for it. We have a legend tag. I'll give it a legend tag, and inside the legend tag, I would give my form data. And if I'll save it, then see this legend, the data which we gave comes inside our, sorry, this legend, the legend as in we want to name that form, right? I'm naming that form as form data. This legend will enclose itself inside the field set. So we can see this form data is looking a little neat now. Along with that, we can have our different parameters and we can do stuff, right? Also, these two tags are also clear to you guys. These two tags are clear, right? Clear, everyone? Any doubts or is it clear? Clear. No doubts. Sorry. Your voice was a little breaking, Ritik. Can you just speak again?
Sir, legend वाला एक और बार बता दो.
Okay, legend वाला, right? See, let's remove this legend for now. What we did was, हमारे पास एक form था, right? अच्छा, tell me one thing. You guys are okay with English and Hindi mixture, right? Like, I hope so. This much quantity of mixture is good enough for everyone. ये तो काफी like easily understandable है, right? इसमें कोई problem तो नहीं है. I can switch in both the things.
No, sir, no problem.
No problem, right? It is like more of English only, but I'm happy to explain in both the languages. I'm fluent enough. No worry. Okay, so
Yes.
I have enclosed this was basically my form, right? I was not having any field set inside it. let's remove this field set as well again. I'm just commenting it down. I hope you guys know about comments. So this was basically my form, right? Now I want my form to look little neat, and I want to enclose it inside my like I would say a box form of thing, box sort of thing. Now to enclose it inside a box, I've added a tag field set. Field set is basically added like this. Field set is basically added like this. If I'll go for field set, just a second. Field set, so it will give me opening and closing tags, but I want to enclose my form inside it. I need to enclose my form inside it, right? So what I'll do, I'll copy paste my form and I'll make it little indented. Indentation is really important in your code so that it's better for you and another person to understand. So I'll enclose this form data inside my field set. If I'll save it, I can see that yes, my form data is now enclosed inside my box, like inside a rectangular box. Now I want, okay, there is a possibility, right, that I can have different data sets in my, like different inputs in my web page. If I'll save it, then we can see we have different input forms, right? I'll just use I'll make use of VR tag for just it to be little neat, right? Now we see, right? We can have different sort of inputs, but I want to differentiate which input is this, which input is my second one, and which is my third one. So for that matter, what I'll do is I'll add a legend tag. Legend is basically it'll tell you that what is the heading of your this field set. Let's assume I want to give it a heading of form1, and okay, this is done. Now this field set 2 I'm again give it a code heading. Heading may I'll write form2, right? Form2. This is my form2. Again, I'll move to my next one. Inside my field set, I'll go for legend. Inside that, I'll give form3 and I'll save it. Saving it, it'll give me, now you can see that it is easily like bifurcated. This is my form1, this is my form2, this is my form3, or we can change the name according to the requirement. Okay, this is my school form, this is my college form, this is my office form. We can bifurcate it using that. Hope so this is clear with you, right? किसने पूछा था? Ritik, I guess Ritik ने पूछा. Ritik, is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, great. Any more doubts, anyone? If not, then we'll be moving on to a very small and good topic. You'll love to see that. Now we'll be moving on to the tables, right? What are tables? Let me initially show you first. Clear, right? Clear for everyone. I just want to know it first. No doubts, right? And let's assume you guys just forget what was the meaning of what thing. Then MDN, I told about MDN, right? MDN is the Bible. Just go and try and start reading it out, because as a developer, you need to Google out it many times. Like we get stuck in bugs, and it's a good Googling is something which is really important for every developer. So start reading documentations, and the best practice is to start from MDN, because it's a foreign author thing. Like we have a foreign author book, right? So it's a little better considered to be for the development stuff, right? No doubts, no sir. Yes, sir. Okay, great. So I'm assuming that things are clear to you guys, right? Now we'll be moving on to our tables. Just a second, I'll open it up again. Okay. So now we'll be learning about tables. What are tables? Let's Google it out first. I'm removing these things. These are not required for me. I'm writing largest cities of the world, I would say. Largest cities of the world, right? Largest cities of the world. Worldometer. Not a table. Back. Largest cities, Wikipedia. Okay, yeah, see. Now you guys can see, अब हमें एक चीज नजर आ रही है that we have a table. Like this is a table. This is head of a table that we are categorizing the cities, countries, along with that population estimate and different parameters over which this header is being divided. Along with that, we are having rows of Tokyo. Tokyo is a city in Japan. having a population and different field sets are there. So you can see there is a like box kind of structure, and you guys can fill it out according to your usage. We have data inside it, we have rows, we have heads, right? We must be having footer as well if it's there. They have not attached the footer, but we'll do it. So I hope you got the basic idea what basically tables are. There are headings, there are different subsections in it, and there are like data available, there are rows available, right? So now what we're going to do is we'll make another file. Go to the lecture 2 and we'll get file of tables. Inside tables, I'll make a file of index.html. Right, again a boilerplate. Fine. I'm giving a heading. We are learning about tables. Right, let's see, is it working? Yeah, it's working. So now we also have a tab using tables. If I'll write table, now this is the tab which I can use to make that Wikipedia kind of thing. We'll not make this large. We'll make it a small one. We'll let you know about the functionality. You guys can make it. So okay, this is the table tag inside which my entire table will be enclosed. I just told you about there is a header thing, right? The city, this country, this US population estimate, this definition, population area, blah 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 stuff. These are my headings, right? Headers. Like for example, when we used to be in school, we had timetables, right? So timetables were also having period 1, period 2, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It can be other way around. Like anything can be heading in that case as well, right? So this table is basically having 3 subsections in it. One is the table head. Other is table body, T body. And third one is T foot, right? These three things are there. These 3 main components are there inside our table tab. Okay, so I just told you about these are my heads. So I'll make it a time. I'll try to make it a timetable, right? So everything has a row, right? This header is having, in this case, it is having 2 or 3 rows, right? If we see this overside, this is my 1 row, this is my 2nd row, this is my 3rd row, right? But in the timetable, what we want is, let me just make a timetable for your ease, right? Let me make a timetable first. Now what's happening is we are making a timetable. Ignore my drawing, it's not pretty good, I'm not an artist. I'm like really noob in it. So, but still it's working fine, it's understandable, right? Okay, so this is my, I would say, timetable. This will be my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. This is my first period, my 2nd period, my 3rd period, my 4th period, and we can be having, let's make it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we can have, let's assume in Monday we are having maths period, Tuesday, Monday we are having, let's assume English, and we are having games, and we are having Hindi, right? And let's assume I say randomly we was data डाल we're just putting up the data, any random thing, we can change it according to our usage, right? Making Hindi and let's assume हम यहाँ पर भी games डाल देते हैं, थोड़ा सा change कर लेते हैं, and यहाँ पर हम Hindi डाल देते हैं, and यहाँ पर भी we making Hindi, right? Is anyone saying anything? Anyone is saying anything? I guess I heard some noise. Okay, so cool. So this is basically our timetable, and this will be my table head. This will be my body, and I'll be making a table foot as well. And like for example, this is my timetable for Nagarro. Timetable, like don't make it obvious, of course. This is not for Nagarro, but we're just making a timetable for Nagarro. And this is my table head, my table body, and this is my table foot, right? And this is my entire table. Right. Now what we are doing is Divyansh, could you please help us out by muting yourself? I guess. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so I told about the table tag. Table tag, we are having 3 basic things. That is, I'm commenting it out. Heading of table, body of table, and footer of table. All right, easy. Now we have rows here, right? So we'll be making row. How can we make a row? We have to write tr. Tr tag is responsible of ours to make the rows. And now in the initial heading, we want headings, right? In my headers, I want headings. So to denote headers, to denote headings, I write th. And for example, I want my initial to be timetable, right? Timetable. And I'm just copying it down. Timetable ke baad I'm writing my one period. And let's copy this again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. We're making this along with that. Okay, let's save and see what's been shown. Right. I'm getting my timetable. Uske baad one period, second period, third period, fourth period. It's not being like a table, but we'll make it normally. First period, third period, fourth period, and blah blah blah. In my headers, my heading part is done. Now I want to go with my body part, right? Inside the body again, we need to make rows for that matter. We want 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, right? Inside the body, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? We have 4 rows. So we'll be making 4 TR tags. We have 4 TR tags. That is table row 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right. Inside my first TR tag, I need to insert the data of my like subjects like Monday. Oh, I am having my first subject as maths, then English, then games, then Hindi, right? Then I need to insert the data inside it. Header was inserted using th. Now inside my this, the data is inserted by using td. If I'll enter td and I'll write maths here, inside maths, after that, I'm having my English, having my games, and I'm having my Hindi, right? This is basically the work for my row 1. I can copy it down, make it row 2, copy it down, making it to row 3, copying it down, making it to row 4. Right. Now let us see.
आएगा उसके अंदर मंडे सबसे पहले.
Sorry.
सर वीकडे भी तो आएगा सबसे पहले मंडे.
हाँ आएगा, but we'll see ना कि slowly and gradually what happens. So देखते रहेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. See, I'm doing it maths, English, games, and Hindi. But what happens is timetable के नीचे we were about to share about this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday again, right? So अब इस table row जो different rows हैं, इनका पहला data will be the days of which we are working on. तो इसके अंदर जब हम add करेंगे, this will be the timetable for my Monday. Now this Monday को हम copy करेंगे. Monday here will be like Tuesday, and here it will be like Wednesday, and it will be like sorry, and it will be like Wednesday and Thursday. I guess अभी हमने 4 का ही बनाया, right? Thursday. Now we'll save and see. So हाँ, it is somewhat looking like a timetable. Like in my first period is on Monday will be math, second period will be English, third will be games. It's somewhat looking like a timetable now, right? So exactly we want to enclose it inside a border, right? So what we're gonna do is जो मैं अभी कर रहा हूँ, that is deprecated. You should not do it, but just because अभी हमने CSS वगैरह वाली चीजें नहीं सीखी हैं, तो that's why I'm doing it. So अभी मैं बताऊंगा कि why is it deprecated. I'll show it up to you, but just to make it little visualizing a little better, so I'll show that. So what I'm doing is I'm making it a border of 5, and let's assume let's go. See, a border of 5. What we'll do is let us see what we'll do. I gave it a border of width 5, right? My table. So the entire table got converted into a box kind of thing. This Hindi is coming in another box. Fourth period is coming in another box. I just did one thing. You just need to ignore it right now. Just for the visualization part, I'm doing it. These things will be done using CSS when we learning about CSS. So just right now for showing things, I'm using this attribute border as 5, and I want that these are quite congested with each other. I want to give it the space inside. So I'll be using cell spacing. And let's assume I'll be using 10 as my cell spacing, right? So you can see that earlier without cell spacing, it was quite compact, and because of the cell spacing, each cell that is timetable is a cell, right? Let me tell you. This is my one cell. This is my another cell. So these cells will be separated from each other with the margin. Like this is also my cell. Will be separated from each other with the space which I've been allotted. For example, I've allotted 10. So these all the sides of it will be getting a space of the allotted size. Like let's assume I'm changing them from 10 to I'm changing it from 20. So it will be like a little more, spacious according to it. But I guess 10 was looking a little better. So I'll change the space. Now what happens is we can see this 1, 2, 3, 4. The data inside this one cell is also quite compact, right? This is a cell. 2 written inside this one is also quite compact in case of our browser, right? So 4th period, Hindi, everything is like this is also congested inside a cell as well. So now we'll be using another property, that is cell padding. Now cell padding will be given the value. We'll be giving the value. Let's give 10 and let's see now what happens. Now you can see the space inside each cell. Wait, this was a cell, right? Now what happens is this 10 is being given from all the 4 sides of this cell, and now the data has been enclosed inside the cell because of this attribute of cell padding. You can see. Is it clear to everyone? Clear to you all that how we were able to make cell spacing, like creating a space inside one cell and creating spaces between different cells, and how we were able to make the border. We'll not do it. Why we'll not do it? I'll just show you why. I'll go to MDN. I'll search for MDN tables. If I'll go for see, right. This is basically told about that table is there. Table is having component of T head. T head is there. T head is ending here. Now table body is there. They have not used table footer, but we have used. We'll make you see that again. We have not entered any value in table foot. I'll let do it. Now see, it is showing me attribute things and depargated attributes. Depargated means that earlier it was being used and now it is not being used. And how we got to know that these are depargated? Once it is written, obviously written. Along with that, these attributes are having a dustbin or the bin sign in front of it. You guys are able to see it, right? You guys were able to see it, right? Dustbin sign is there. That is, it is no more in use. I'll just I don't know what's happening here. Okay. Depargated means not being used now, but earlier it was being used. But earlier it was being used, right? So again, I'll say key go to MDN tables and start reading. Like you should have a good habit of reading documentation part, right? See, this align, this background color is back into what we can do is inside our attribute, I can see BG color. I want to give it a, let's assume, blue color. Like right now it is having white color because I've not saved it. If I'll save it, see, the color became blue. The entire color became blue. It's quite dark, so I would say I would go for light blue. Light will not be like this. Right. So the color changed from blue to light blue, right? But since we know that this property is demarcated, as you can see, a dustbin sign is there, so we should not use it. Again, we use border, right? We use border here, and it is showing us demarcated, so we should not do it. Border, BG color, cell padding, cell spacing. We use all of these attributes, but it is not a good practice to use it, right? But just for understanding, just for learning purpose, we did it and we saw the output. It's looking good, right? I assume it is looking good. Okay. So now what happens is we have a footer left, right? Inside the footer, I told you about that now we'll be adding. It is the timetable for Nagarro, right? Okay, timetable for Nagarro. If inside my table foot, I'll be adding one row, of course, one row because I only want one sort of thing inside it. So I'll be writing my table data and I'll be writing time table for Nagarro, right? Timetable for Nagarro. But if you will see, it is just occupying one space, that is one TD. That is something we don't want. We want that entirely our timetable, this one timetable, my one footer covers the entire all the rows, right? Sorry for the drawing, but it was just for explanation. I want कि जो मेरा timetable for Nagarro है, it covers all the spaces, right? It covers the entire area. So now we have a property of cell pad, call span and row span. This is important. I want everyone to pay attention to it, right? अब ध्यान से we'll focus. What is a row? This is row 1. This is row 2. Row 1. I'll make it again. I'll make it again. It is looking little messy. I'll make it again, right? This is my row 1. This is my row 1. This is my row 2. This is my row 3. And this is my row 4, right? And this is my column 1. This is my column 2. This is my column 3 as well as this is my column 4, right? Clear? ये चीज clear है? तो अब I know कि मेरा जो footer था, this was my footer, right? Let's assume this was my footer. Row 5 was my footer. It was coming just in one column, right? We could see that it was coming just in one column, right? Just one column here. But हम चाहते हैं, we want it occupies the entire space. So we want it has to occupy all the spaces of the next columns, right? Spaces of next columns as well. So we need to know how many columns are there. In this case, it is 3. But in the case of our timetable, there are total 5 columns. That is 4 more columns. One column, period 1 is another column, period 2 is another column, period 3 is another column, and period 4 is another column. So we have 4 extra columns along with the timetable thing. So now we want it to spread over the entire space. So what we'll do is we'll use a attribute name as call span. Since we are expanding it to our all the columns, so we'll make it call span. And how many columns we want to expand? Let's assume right now I just want it to be expanded to 2 columns only. I'll save it. Now see, initially it was occupying only one space and now it occupied till 2 columns. Okay, that's great. I want to change my value of call span from 2 to 3. 2 to 3. Now what happens is now it is occupying a total of 3 columns in total, right? 1, 2, and 3. 3 columns in total it is occupying. But I want it to cover all the spaces. So now I know that there are total 5 columns. So I'll directly write call span equal to 5. So now this timetable for Nagarro will be there for the entire space, right? And now you can see that this timetable for Nagarro is coming towards left inclined. It is not being centered inclined. Like it is not coming in the center. So for that matter, I just want you to know about a small property or small difference between TH and TD, right? So table row, so we know that we need to make rows. So that table row is common for both. But what is the difference between this TH and this TD? So there are 2 differences. That TH gives you a bolder form of text. Since it's a heading, right? So it will give you a bolder form of text. Bolder form of text, not form, this is form of text. And secondly, it aligns in center. It aligns in center. On the other hand, this is just like does not give bolder text. And secondly, it does not align in center. Center aligned नहीं होता, right? We'll see that कि हम अब जैसे हमारा ये center में नहीं आ रहा, this is coming towards left side. And अगर आप font का size देखो, तो it is very normal. It is not very big kind of thing. So if I change from this table data to this table head, I can do it. Of course, I can do it. So if I'll save it now, so now see this timetable for Nagarro is becoming a little bolder, just like the headings we gave inside our timetable, and automatically it is aligning itself inside the center. You guys got the difference? This TD earlier was giving me normal data without bold and towards left side. If I change this TD from TH, now it will give me center aligned along with the bolder text. Is this clear for you all, guys? Is this clear? Yeah, call span can be. I just explained about call span, Vishesh. Is this clear about call span?
Yes.
Okay.
Clear, sir.
So cool. Now I want this Hindi is like covering okay. Let's come to this part again. there was Hindi written everywhere, right? Hindi. ठीक है. I want to do small changes inside my timetable. I want this Hindi to be replaced by games. Right. I want this Hindi to be replaced by games. Which Hindi was it? This Hindi to be replaced by games only. Right. This is replaced by games. See, now we can see in my Wednesday timetable, inside my one row, there are two games together, and inside my Monday and Tuesday timetable, there are in the fourth period, Hindi is being repeated in the last. Like everything is repeated from top to down in the row wise. So repeated from top to down, and games is repeating from column right, from left to right. So now I want not to write Hindi again and again. I want to write Hindi once and spread it to the entire two columns, or how many columns, that depends on us, just like we did for Nagarro, right? I know that now I want my Hindi, where was Hindi, right? Right, my Hindi to get expanded to two rows, right? These are rows, right? Monday is one row, Tuesday is one row, right? So I'll write another attribute as row span. Initially we did call span, right? Here we did call span. Now, in order to merge columns, like different columns in one, then we use call span. But in order to merge different rows in one, we use row span. So here we are using row span, and initially I want to try for two. I just want to see, is there any more possibility to collapse? I'll save it. Now it is showing me Hindi, and Hindi is being excluded as well. Hindi is excluded because this Hindi is already present two times, and because of this additional Hindi. Like I'll just simply comment it out, क्योंकि मैंने उन दोनों हिंदी को एक में merge कर दिया था, तो extra presence will go out of the flow, right? तो अब मुझे वो हटाना है, तो I'll just simply comment it out and see both my Hindis are just covering by just one unit and covering the entire two rows, not columns, rows, right? Is it clear how to use row span? Let's assume if I was having, yeah, I can do it with English, right? My English is covering all the four spaces. So I'll use row span. I'll use the total 4 columns को, 4 rows को I want to make it a span. But 4 row को span बनाने से क्या होगा? जो नीचे English है, the English which is being repeated in different rows, that is extra. So I'll simply comment that English, and I'll simply save it. So now see, this English is entirely covering one space, one unit, because of this row span. And again, I want to make this the Wednesday, May 3rd and 4th period games ka same. So what I'll do is like this is there, right? Games are there. What I'll do, I'm making the column call span 2 the same. Again, this will be extra for us. We'll comment it, and now we see the games is coming as one part. I hope so. This is clear for all of us. Like, is there anyone who is not comfortable with this? Call span, row span का you guys got to know. मैं I guess row span को मैंने लिखा है, call span को I forgot. नहीं, I have written row span, call span, right? यहाँ पे एक बार लिख लेता हूँ कि row span is equal to just for example 2, and call span is equal to just for example इसको 3 कर देते हैं, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. एक ये है. This is basically to merge different rows. Rows is from top to bottom. ये लिखा है top to bottom. इसको थोड़ा साफ कर देते हैं, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. Okay, so rows is from top to bottom. Along with that, in call span, इसका काम क्या होता है? It merges different columns, that is from left, right. ठीक है, इसको याद कर लेना. It's a good property. It's like काफी useful property in case of using timetables. So I hope so. Yeah, I don't know why is it happening here. Why is it coming like एक और screen इस पे लग रही है? I need to check it out. चलो, no worries इसमें तो अभी. तो I hope इस चीज में किसी को कोई doubt नहीं है. This was easy stuff, and this is like not a very rocket science kind of thing. तो इसमें किसी को कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं आई अब तक?
No sir, no doubt.
No doubts. अच्छा, तो I'll give you a small homework to you guys. अब मेरे पास बस एक छोटा सा इशू, हाँ वेट, आई नीड टू शेयर माय वन नोट एक्सेस एज वेल, राइट? वन नोट एक्सेस भी आप लोगों को चाहिए था, तो जस्ट अ सेकेंड, आई एम सेंडिंग द लिंक. Right. I'm sending the link for my OneNote in my chat box, so you guys can access the classes at different classes. I make different lecture for every class. Right. The
Sir,
previous one was lecture
sir,
one.
can
And
you please share the GitHub repository link?
yeah, I'll share both the things again. So I have shared my OneNote ka access. Now I am um, sharing with my GitHub again. Nagarro. Now GitHub. Right. I guess only these things are required to you as of now. OneNote का
Thank you.
access. बेसिकली आप कोड्स तो आप गिटहब पे देख पाओगे, जो अभी मेजरली कोड्स का ही थोड़ा बहुत. इट्स लाइक सी बेसिकली आई वुड सजेस्ट whatever I've taught, yeah, whatever you guys know, definitely go to MDN, read about it, not like spending 3 or 4 hours. It's like getting a basic gist of 15-20 minutes and learning stuff there. So it is important to have a habit of reading the documents. Along with that, like trying it out with your hands on. Like if you will try it with your hands on, you'll stuck with things and you'll get to know, okay, this is something which we have to do, this is something which we do not have to do, right? So hands on जरूर करना, and I hope so चीजें क्लियर हैं. अच्छा, आई एम अबाउट टू गिव यू अ होमवर्क यार. एक काम करो आप लोग, एक तो टाइम टेबल ही बना दो. होमवर्क लिख रहा हूँ मैं यहाँ पे, क्योंकि रिविजन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू गाइस. बिकॉज अभी इनिशियली तो चीजें आसान हैं. इफ यू विल लूज द ग्रास्प, इफ यू लूज द कांसेप्ट्स, देन इट विल बी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू इन द कमिंग टाइम. सबसे पहले यू गाइस मेक अ टाइम टेबल द सेम वे वी मेड इट, बट इसको थोड़ा सा ना ऐसे स्टाइलिश बनाने की कोशिश कर लेना. स्टाइलिश इन द सेंस, नॉट द स्टाइलिंग पार्ट, लाइक कि थोड़ा सा ऐसे लाइक जो भी कॉल स्पैन रो स्पैन वाली चीजें करी हैं, और पूरा मंडे टू फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे सबका बना लो. अब इसके अंदर कंटेंट चेंज कर लेना. यूज द मेक द यूज ऑफ TH TD TR प्रॉपर्ली फुटर में, और हेडर में अच्छी चीजें कर लेना, राइट? तो उस हिसाब से लाइक तुम हेडर्स में भी दो चीजें कर सकते हो. दिस इज द टाइम टेबल फॉर नगैरो, और नीचे भी दिस इज टाइम टेबल फॉर नगैरो. ऐसे करके थोड़ा सा ना डिजाइनेबल फॉर्म में बनाना. आई ट्राई कि मैं तुम्हें थोड़ा सा जिस्ट दे पाऊँ, बट ये ना वन नोट थोड़ा सा स्टक हो गया. जस्ट अ सेकंड. हाँ ठीक है. तो टाइम टेबल का इज लाइक, तो यहाँ पे एक हेडर होगा कि कुछ भी वर्किंग आवर्स ऑफ आवर टीम, या फिर do one thing. It's better if you guys will directly look it out for from largest cities of the world, right? ऐसा कुछ बनाने का ट्राई कर लेना. मतलब इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स भी मत बनाना. इट्स ओके. तो try from this, try to copy these concepts, these functionalities. I've sent it in the chat box of it. तो टाइम टेबल के लिए तो आप यही चीज बना लेना. along with that आप अपना थोड़ा सा पोर्टफोलियो बनाने की कोशिश करो. पोर्टफोलियो इन द सेंस, जितने भी हमने इनपुट टैग्स पढ़े हैं ना, इनपुट टैग्स के बारे में पढ़ा है. इनपुट टैग्स में जैसे पोर्टफोलियो में आपका नेम होता है, आपका ईमेल होता है. ईमेल इज आल्सो वन ऑफ द इनपुट. आपका टेलीफोन नंबर, आपका आपका रेज्यूमे आपको शेयर करना है. रेज्यूमे शेयर मतलब कैसे होगा, वो फाइल टाइप वाला, राइट? रेज्यूमे शेयर अलॉन्ग विद आपका फेवरेट कलर, और आपकी स्कूलिंग, और आपके जैसे चेकबॉक्स वाली, नहीं सॉरी, ऑप्शन वाली चीज थी ना वो, ड्रॉप डाउन वाली. ड्रॉप डाउन को इंक्लूड करना आप लोग. और ड्रॉप डाउन से आप बना सकते हो और फेवरेट स्पोर्ट्स में, कि फेवरेट स्पोर्ट्स, फेवरेट मंथ, ऐसे करके ऑप्शन. along with that फील्ड सेट का यूज करना, फील्ड सेट का और लेजेंड का, ताकि टू मेक इट लिटिल क्लीन. तो अपना एक पोर्टफोलियो सॉर्ट ऑफ बनाना है. पोर्टफोलियो बोलूं या फिर इसको मैं प्रोफाइल सॉर्ट ऑफ चीज, राइट? तो ये दो होमवर्क्स आपको ट्राई करने हैं. मतलब ये एट्रीब्यूट्स तो बस एग्जांपल हैं, आप अपने हिसाब से बहुत सुंदर सा बनाना. स्टाइलिंग पे आई एम नॉट कंसर्न्ड राइट नाउ. लाइक किसी को आती है, दैट गाय कैन डू, दैट्स टोटली ओके. बट you won't be judged on the basis of your styling, you will be judged on the basis of your functionalities, as well as gender वाली चीजें ऐड करना, Alright, so I hope so homework 1 is clear. ये आपका largest cities of the world है. वैसा थोड़ा बहुत बना लेना. No need to like exactly copy paste it. Largest cities of the world. And इसमें it's like अपना प्रोफाइल. एक काम करो, इसको 2 बनाना. एक हो गया योर प्रोफाइल एंड योर कॉलेज प्रोफाइल. जैसे स्कूल कॉलेज की अलग होती है, राइट? तो वैसे आप इसको अपनी प्रोफाइल बनाओ और इसको अपनी कॉलेज की प्रोफाइल बनाओ, राइट? सो 2 पोर्टफोलियोज एंड 1 टाइम टेबल या लार्जेस्ट सिटी. इज इट क्लियर विद यू गाइस? ठीक है, सबको सॉर्टेड है. कैन वी मेक द बुक्स रेपोज?
Yes.
हाँ, यू कैन शो मी विद द रेपोज. लाइक नेटलिफाई पे होस्ट ही कर लेना. बाकी इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स मत करो. जस्ट मेक इट फॉर योर ओन प्रैक्टिस. यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस फॉर योरसेल्फ यार. मतलब मेरे लिए तुम्हें प्रैक्टिस नहीं करना. यू नीड टू लर्न द कॉन्सेप्ट्स. बाकी आई विल रैंडमली आस्क पीपल अबाउट द कॉन्सेप्ट्स, या मैं बीच में ऐसे वाया की तरह पूछ सकता हूँ. तो इट्स नो वरीज. मतलब the link is not visible in the chat box. Which link is not visible, Ritik? How many entries, sir? It depends on you, Rishabh. Like तुम 10 बनाओ 20 बनाओ. It's like you should know the concept. Can we make homework? Repo, हाँ, ठीक है. Which link, Ritik, you were talking about? The link is not visible. Checkbox में कि I agree that this is my profile, I am a legit person. वो use आप checkbox का कर सकते हो. Gender का कि मतलब gender में आप ये चीज कर सकते हो ना कि हाँ I am a male, I am a female, तो that can be gender tag का. Gender is not a tag, radio is a tag, तो gender is basically radio tag का use करके बनेगा, right? ऋतिक, आप कौन सा लिंक कह रहे हो? बिकॉज़ लिंक्स थोड़े इंपॉर्टेंट है. कौन सा लिंक विजिबल नहीं है आपको? प्लीज लेट मी
चैट बॉक्स में मेरे पास रिसीव स्क्रीन शेयरिंग में शो हो रहा है.
one at a time, please, one at a time. ऋतिक, प्लीज से.
सर चैट बॉक्स में मेरे पास कोई टेक्स्ट वगैरह शो नहीं हो रहा है, पर आपकी स्क्रीन शेयर जो आप कर रहे हो उसके अंदर विजिबल है सब कुछ.
चैट बॉक्स में आपको लिंक्स शो नहीं हो रहे हैं तो
सर किसी का भी टेक्स्ट वगैरह नहीं आ रहा है मेरे पास.
अच्छा, आपको किसी के क्वेश्चंस नहीं, यू आर नॉट एबल टू सी एनीवन्स क्वेश्चन, राइट?
नो सर 12/7 के लास्ट मैसेज मेरे पास विजिबल है, उसके बाद के दिख नहीं रहे हैं. स्क्रीन शेयरिंग में दिख रहा है.
ऋतिक, यू हैव माय नंबर?
यस सर.
हाँ, आप मुझे एक बार ना हाय आई एम ऋतिक करके टेक्स्ट कर दो. मतलब सारे मत करना प्लीज, बहुत सारे हो जाओगे. जस्ट इसका थोड़ा एक्सेप्शनल केस है, सो दैट्स व्हाई इट्स बेटर. बिकॉज़ थोड़ा सा और भी लाइक ऑक्यूपेंसी बैचेस में चलती है, राइट? तो सारे मत करना, बट इफ इट्स एन इमरजेंसी तो ऑफ कोर्स मतलब आई एम देयर टू हेल्प यू. ठीक है, तो ऋतिक आप मुझे एक बार हाई टेक्स्ट कर देना. आई विल सेंड यू सारे लिंक्स जितने भी रिक्वायर्ड हैं. अलॉन्ग विद दैट किसी को और कोई लिंक में दिक्कत हो तो प्लीज मुझे, मतलब आई हैव टेक्स्टेड इन द चैट बॉक्स एज वेल, तो मुझे बता देना एक बार. या फिर इफ यू गाइस हैव अ व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप तो you guys can add me out there, right? That will be a better option. बाकी it's no worries. अगर किसी एक दो पर्टिकुलर बंदे को इशू है तो I can easily help that out. Clear?
Sir, yes. I have texted you on WhatsApp.
I am?
Sir, I have texted you on WhatsApp.
Okay, I'll just see. I'm not having a phone right now. I don't see phone right. I'll just remove you guys pretty ASAP, right?
Okay, sir.
So I hope so. बाकियों के लिए भी things are pretty clear and the session was okayish, not that bad. तुम्हें चीजें समझ आई होंगी. फंक्शनैलिटी को तुम्हें अपने हिसाब से इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स योर बाइबल इज MDN. उस पे जाके जरूर गो फॉर इट, चेक इट आउट, रीड जरूर करना एंड learn a habit of googling as well as reading the documents. That is really important for you. Cool?
Yes.
Sorted? Everyone sorted?
Yes, sir.
Chalo, great. Hope nobody is having any doubts till now. And
so the second homework is just like an application form, right?
Basically application form. Right now you can't make it like stylish video kind of things, right? So just an application form, but just try to make use of all the input forms, right? Input text, right? Everything. Try to make the best out of yours. Okay. So see you guys in the next class. Hopefully, I'm not sure of the date, but hopefully it will happen soon. So till that, do all these 3 homeworks, 2 profiles. One is from yours, one is from your college, along with that largest cities of the world. And if you are stuck somewhere, then make a habit of like Googling it and check it out. Saurabh, are you saying something? Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess this is the end for the day. You guys can enjoy the learning and implement it, right? See you out tomorrow or in the next class. All the best. Till then. Bye.